Hi, my name is Cite, and in this video I'm going to give you a complete overview of everything you can do in Google Docs ready for the year 2020. So let's dive into it with another flipped classroom tutorial. Now this will be a longer video, so make sure that you check out that description below for timestamps to every single thing we talk about. Now this is going to be a complete overview for beginners, so let's just get started. Now the first thing you'll have to do is decide on how you are creating your new files. Now there's a number of different ways that you can create your new files in Google, and the first one is to navigate to your Google Drive. Now once you're in Google Drive, which can be found on drive.google.com or by simply navigating to those 9 dots and then finding Google Drive, here you can now create new files. You can right click and add a new Google Doc file. You can also click on the create or new file at the top left corner. Now this way you can add files and you immediately know where on your Google Drive they are stored. Now Google also gives us a number of shortcuts. We can go up into the Omnibox and we can just simply type doc.new. Now I use this all the time because it instantly creates a new file. Now make sure the first thing you do is title your file. This way it's going to be easier to find it and it's going to be easier to work with the document. So let's go ahead and title our file demo. Once you've done that, you'll see that there are now 2 extra icons. We can star the file, which means we'll find it easily in our Google Drive and we can then also continue to work on it. And we get a folder icon. Now this folder icon is the second step of your file management. So we're going to click on that and then we're going to choose a destination folder for this file. Once you've selected the destination, click on Move here. And this is all in terms of managing your files. Now we're going to start by looking at the interface. Now at the top we have our menu structure, and then you'll see that I also have a ruler and then my workspace. Now these things can be tweaked, so the first place we're going to go to is our view menu. So go ahead and click on view menu and you'll see there's a number of options there. Now at the moment we have 4 different options here that we can add to our view and the way our layout is presented to us. Now the first thing is to add or remove a ruler. Now the ruler will allow you to adjust your margins and also change the indentation later on. So you can turn this on or you can remove that ruler. The second one is the document outline. This will give you a chance to use different headers, and then those headers will be used for the outline of your document. You can show this and you will see it appears on the left hand side, or you can remove this as you are typing and working. Now I'm going to leave both the ruler and document outline turned on. In addition to this, we also have an equations bar, so I'm going to turn this on because it's going to allow me to demonstrate that later on. And then finally, we can also show our section breaks. Now the section breaks are going to allow us to add some special effects later on. So go ahead and turn all these on, and then we're going to look at some other options. Now Google Docs is very collaborative and it can be used in 3 separate modes to collaborate with each other. Now the first one is the editing mode. That's what we're in right now, and you can see that by the icon highlighted right here within the view menu, or you can also find it in the top right corner right there. Now the editing mode allows you to edit the document as if there are absolutely no restrictions. Now the second mode that you can jump into is the suggestions mode. This is great when you're proofreading for others or when you've shared a document, you want to make some suggestions, but you also want to allow your collaborators to either accept or reject those suggestions. And then finally we have a view only mode. This is going to show you exactly what your document will look like once it's printed, and also you cannot edit anything. So when you're just skim reading your own document and you don't want to accidentally move things around, you can change into view mode. Now this is where you can change that. You can go into view mode and then choose the one you would like to be in. Now I'm going to select edit mode. Now let's type our very first sentence, and as with every word processor you can change the font and the font size as well as the different colors. Now this can all be found on your main toolbar. Now here we can change the font. Now let's say that you do not see the font that you would like to use. Well, you can always click on more fonts. This will bring you to the Google fonts available and you can add them to your shortlist. This way you can keep a clean shortlist with just those fonts that you like to use. Now the size can also be a custom size, so you don't have to use that drop down arrow. You can also just type in the custom font size that you'd like to use. In addition to this, we have the standard bold, italic and underline for our fonts. Now we can also give our text a color right here, or highlight the text and just give a background color to the text on our document. All these are very basic functionalities and they will not count towards your document outline. Now, a huge time saver within Google Docs is using different text styles. Now the default ones are title, subtitle and a number of headings, but you can change these. So go ahead and select one of these for your first title, and then we're going to move on and add a number of headings. Now these headings will all enable us to then later on create a table of content. This table of content will automatically be generated by looking at titles, subtitles, etc. Now you can adjust these. So let's say that I don't like the layout and the style of this first one. What I can do now is I can first change my text. So I'm going to change the font, the color, and everything I would like to see for my title. Now I highlight this title and I'm going to go to my styles. Now instead of applying this style to the title, I'm going to update it. So you can see there are two options here. We're going to select update, and when you update a style, you're taking current formatting and making it the style's default. However, when you click on apply, you're removing that formatting and you're applying the styles formatting to your text. So that's a very big difference between the two. So the first thing I would suggest is that you format everything the way you would like it and then update your styles. Then when you start typing or editing your text, you can quickly apply the different text and title styles to your document and then use that to create your table of contents. Now let's say that I want to insert that table of contents. Well, the way we're going to do that is by first navigating to the location where we want our table of contents to be. Once we've done that, we're going to go to the Insert menu, and then all the way down at the bottom you'll see Table of Contents. Now there are two different ways we can do this. The first is by having text with page numbers next to it, and that is the Table of Contents with page numbers. Now the second one, this is for non-print document or hyperdocs and documents that will live in the digital space. This is automatically going to link to the correct page. So if you have a title that appears on page 25, well then it's automatically going to generate that link, and then when you click on the table of content, it jumps to page 25. So this is where you have to make a decision. Is this document going to be printed or is it going to be a digital document? Go ahead and select the table of content that you would like to insert and then click on it. Now once it's here and not done, we can still adjust this and tweak it, but Google Docs can do it automatically for us. So as we're typing, obviously page numbers will change and things move around. While there is a little icon here that we can click, and this will automatically update our table of contents. So you can use this right from the beginning, right from the start, and just simply put it where you would like your table of content to be. And then as you type, update it from time to time using this icon. Now you will also have noticed that in this Insert menu, there are many different things we can insert into our Google documents. Now we're going to walk through them from top to bottom, but you can also check out the timestamps in this description if you would like to preview some of the other options. Now the first thing we can insert into our Google document are images. Now when you click on Insert Image, you'll see there is a number of different options here. The first is to upload an image from your computer. So you already have an image, you would like to put it in your Google documents. The second one is to search the web. Now this is my favorite way of finding images because it keeps it clean, it keeps it within Google Documents. And when you're using the built-in search for images, all your images are automatically images that are okay for reuse. So Google will filter those results and it will feed back those images that you can use within your document. Also, because it is contained, it really helps your students to save time and focus on the work that they are doing. Now the next option here is to insert an image stored on your Google Drive. So this is your cloud storage, and it also gives you the second form of cloud storage, and that's Google Photos. So if you are someone like me who stores their images in the cloud using Google Photos, well then you can easily insert them using the Insert Image and then Photos option. Now we can also use the URL, so if we have a hosted image we can do that right here, or we can use our device's webcam or connected camera. The next option is to insert a table, and you can select how many rows or columns you'd like, and then the the third option is to insert a drawing. Now, insert a drawing, this is a very special one because there are two ways that you can insert a drawing. You could either create a drawing that is housed within Google Documents and it lives inside Google Documents. You can't find it anywhere else and you have to make all the changes within Google Documents. Now, to create one of these contained drawings, simply click on New. Now let's say that you already have a Google drawing or you want to use the same drawing in multiple documents. Well, then you're going to want to find a Google Drawings file. Now you can click on From Drive and then select that Google Drawings file. This way, whenever you update that single file, it will be updated in all your documents. This is great for schematics or overviews or when you have students working on multiple projects but referencing a single drawing. This way you can do that and the file will be updated, and so your Google document will be a living document that updates as other files are updated. Now the same can be done with the next menu. This is where you insert a chart. So let's say that you have a chart and you've got lots of data sets and you've got it stored in Google Sheets. Well, here you can now insert either a contained chart, which is just for this document, or you select one from your sheets. And once you've got that linked, you can simply update and Google Documents will show you the most recent dataset or chart that you have in your Google Sheets. Horizontal lines and footnotes are brilliant to keep things organized, and that brings us to the next part of our insert menu. The next part is headers and footers. So let's go ahead and open this and let's add in a header. Now you can start typing your header right here. Now within header options, we can click on header format. Now this is how we can get real control over our header. So we can change everything about our header in this menu. Here we can change the margins of our header and footer, and we can also select whether we want a different header for the first page or if we want the odd and even pages to have different headers and footers. This is great for when you're going to print back to front, and also if you want to create professional looking PDF files or ebooks. Now once you've added a number of page breaks, you will also have different sections in your menu. Now these different sections will allow you to have different headers or different settings for different sections. So let's go ahead and insert a break right here. I'm going to choose the next page break. We're now going to go into the header options again, header format, and now you can see that there is an extra option here. I can apply this to the entire document, to this section, section 2, or to this section only. That means that I have a little bit more control over what my document will look like. Now you will also see that there is an option here to insert a link or a bookmark. Now this will allow you to create a hyper document or hyperlinked document. Now you can also do this by highlighting the sentence or word first, then right-clicking and selecting that link. Now within your format menu, you have a headers and footers menu, and here you can also change these settings. Now another question I'm often asked is how can you tweak the indentations and the different styles or alignments? Well, it's all within the format menu. Now, here we have a menu called align and indent, so we're going to click on that, and then you'll see there's a number of different options here. We can first of all align our text to whatever we want it to be, and we can increase or decrease the indentation. Now because they want to give us a little bit more control, they've also added some indentation options. This is where you can really customize it and change it to fit the purpose of your document's design. Now let's say that you have something and it looks really good and you've got your indentations all set up, and you would like to copy a style to another part of your text. Well, highlight the formatting you really like or that you would like to copy over into another section of the document, and then find the Paint Format button. We're going to click on that button and it now knows the formatting that we've used. Now, whichever word or paragraph or part of the text we select next, that will be given that exact same formatting. So you can see here I've got some colorful text. I'm going to use the Paint format, and then I'm going to paste it on top of some other text, and the formatting will be copied over. This is incredibly useful when you do not want to use those text styles, but you do want to have consistent formatting in your document. Now that we've typed up some text and we've added some edits, it's time to start collaborating. So go ahead and find that share button in the top right corner, and you can invite someone to become an editor on your document. And just as with all the other files within Google, you can choose the different privileges you give them. You can give give them editing rights, you can give them suggestion rights, or even view rights only. Now, once you've given someone edit rights, often what I've seen people do is they'll reshare a file to leave little notes or inform their collaborators about changes made to that document. However, there is a built-in way of doing that. Let's say that you've got a document and it's shared with 20 people, and you only want to message 2 out of those 20 people. Well, you can go into your file menu, and then here there's now an extra option, and that is email collaborators. Now, when you click on that, you will be able to highlight those people that you would like to send a message to, and then you can start typing up your email. They will be notified by email about whatever message you've typed up, and you're not resharing the file where you can make some mistakes and accidentally change some settings, or messaging everyone. This gives you real control over who you are messaging. Now, while we're in this file menu, we can also note that there is an email as attachment. Now, sometimes you want some feedback on a document, but these people don't necessarily need access to the Google document. So what we can do is we can then email it as an attachment. We can type in the email address of the recipient, and we can choose the file type. That is a number of different file types. I tend to use PDF because it is fast, easy, and it's also a very small file size. Now, if you choose to use one of these other file types, absolutely no problem, but do take into consideration that sometimes converting to another file type can mess up the formatting a little bit. Now, that same sort of file conversion can be found when you go to File and Download. So let's say that you've finished your work and you now want a portable document file type, a PDF file, and you want to just have it on a flash drive, or you want to store it on your Google Drive. Well, you can go into File and then download as a PDF. You can also download as any of these other file formats. This allows you to then create your own ebooks or curriculums and then share them with other people. Something I don't use that often is the version history, but I can see a real use for this, because often what we have in class is students reiterating on their work and trying to adapt and change things. So what we would ask then is for them to name their version and then also keep track of all the previous versions of that same document. Now, I know we have revision history, but this way we can really name our versions and keep track of version 1, 2, 3, etc. And another very important menu within our file menu is the page setup. Now, the page setup is where you can then choose some settings for your document. So you can change the margins, the background color. Now you can see we can select different sections as well, but we cannot yet mix portrait and landscape pages. Now, I can't wait for this to come to Google Documents. I think this could be a huge addition to what we already have available. And once we can start mixing portrait and landscape, I think Google Documents will be even better. Now, if there's any features that you would like to see in Google Documents and you haven't seen them yet, scroll into that comment section below, let me know, and let's start this conversation. I would love to know what you would like to see coming from other editors into Google Documents that you can't do at this moment. Now let's go back to our Google document. Because this is a beginner's tutorial, there is one more menu I would like to look at, and that's the Tools menu. This is also the menu where I spend most of my time and I find most useful tools in the Tools menu. Now, the first one is the spelling and grammar check. Now, this is a standard spelling and grammar check, and you can run this and it gives you suggestions on what to change in your document. Now, the second one, this is one of my favorite, and this is a word count. And this gives us a very clear breakdown of everything that's going on in our document. We can also tick this extra box now, and we have a live word count as we're typing in the bottom left corner of our document. When you're writing essays or you have homework and you've set it for your students and you've said, okay, we need a minimum of 750 words, well, word count will allow you to do a quick check of that work. Which brings us to the next option. Now you can see I have a compare documents function here. Now this is new, this is a huge update, because what you can do is you can compare your document to another document already on Google Drive. This way, Google will scan both documents and give you a neat overview of where the changes are and who's made those changes. Now if you tick this box at the bottom, you'll also include those comments from these documents, but we're going to leave this unticked at the moment. Once you've selected a document and you've clicked on compare, it's going to open up a separate document and it's going to show you all the differences between those two documents. Which brings us to the most powerful tool within Google Docs, the Explore button. Now the Explore button can be found in the bottom right corner of your document or within the Tools menu, and then you just click on Explore. Now it combines research with all sorts of other functionality. So let's go ahead and open up the Explore window and let's search for a tiger. Now when I do that, it's going to pull up some web results for tiger. Now the second option here is images of tigers, and then also it does a scan of my Google Drive for that keyword tiger. Now I'm going to choose web results, and I'm going to just open up one of these pages, and it's automatically going to open in a new tab because it does not want to close down my Google document. I'm still working on that document. So let's go ahead and jump into this website. I'm going to find a paragraph I like. I'm going to copy this over and I paste it into my document. Now, because I still have my Explore window open, I can now make sure that I also cite my source. So I've just pasted this in and I'm going to hover over that exact same web link. You can see there's like a little extra icon there, and that's the quotation mark, and that's how I'm going to cite my source. So as soon as I click on that, it's going to cite the source as a footnote. Now some have asked about different citation formats. Well, you can change those as well. Before you click on that cite, make sure you click on the 3 dots above it. Now the 3 dots will let you choose between these 3 different citation formats. You can choose MLA, APA, or Chicago. Then again, click on the icon and a footnote will be added to your document. Once you've done that, okay, let's add some images now. We're going to jump into that second tab. I'm going to click on that image to see a large scale version of it. And then if I choose to use this, I can click on Insert at the top. You can also insert images without previewing them by simply clicking, dragging and dropping them, or clicking on the plus icon when you hover over an image. Now, because you've used the Explore functionality to insert images, all your images have additional information about where that image is from. So when you click on an image, you'll see that all this additional information shows up, and you can tweak this or you can change this. You can even turn this on or off. And that's the Explore function within Google Docs. Now let's jump back into our Tools menu, because there are a number of other tools there that can be useful whenever you need them. Remember how we could insert those drawings and sheets and graphs and link them and keep them linked to other documents? Well, in this Tools menu, you can get an overview of every single linked document within your Google Docs in order for you to find out which documents are still housed elsewhere. Now, the way you can do that is by clicking on Tools and then Linked Objects. Now, this is going to give you an overview of every single object within your Google document that is linked to an external file. This is great when you have very long and complex documents or syllabuses with lots of different images and drawings and graphs. So this way you can easily find and check that everything is in order. Now you also have a dictionary and some voice typing. Now when you use voice typing, you're able to dictate into your Google Docs program, and you can even dictate formatting and also information about the punctuation. So when you say full stop, it will add a full stop into your text. And then finally, we have our Google Docs preferences. Now this has been a very long video, but bear with me, we're going to jump into our preferences. And what I really like about preferences is what you see at the bottom, where you automatically replace one type of word with another. Now these can be sentences as well. So let's say you're typing reports or you're giving feedback to students. Well, what you can do is you can have a little code on the left-hand side, and you can have it automatically replaced with a string of words on the other side. So this way you can really save time, and you can make sure that you stay consistent whenever you're giving feedback to students. And that's all for this beginner's overview of Google Documents. Now, I hope you enjoyed this. This has been a very long video, and that's why I'm leaving all those timestamps in the description below. Make sure that you share this with someone who is new to Google Docs, or maybe as a refresher at the start of each term for the school year. Now, I use Google Docs on a daily basis. I love it. I couldn't be more happy about it, but I would love to hear your feedback. Do you use Google Docs? How do you use it? When do you use it? What sort of things do you really enjoy about Google Docs? And what are some of the things that really annoy you and you'd like to see changed? Jump into that comment section below, let me know, and let's start this conversation. If you found this video helpful, make sure that you also subscribe and hit that bell on the way back up. If you've enjoyed this long form overview of Google Docs, make sure you go and watch the overview of Google Slides. Now, I've done a complete overview right there in the cards as well. I hope you found this helpful, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.